Hey everyone, it has been a while, so I'm a little bit out of practice, but I wanted to just hop on here to talk about what we're seeing in the market. And the first thing, I'll go over the Dow and the Nasdaq. Um, that's typically what I review in my newsletter, and that creates a very top-down analysis. I like to look at the overall market and the sentiment in order to help my trading decisions. And last week, okay, wait, this is Thursday. Let me go up one. All right, we're on Friday. What you're seeing here is the chart that I provided to my readers, and the markings are I did a couple of highlights where the Dow retested. We're on the daily chart time frame. The Dow retested a little below the 50. The pink line is the 50 simple moving average line, and it found that area again two more times. And so my prediction for last week was that it was going to find support or land around that area here where I have highlighted. What it actually did, let's just exit replay and you'll see it finish. This is the rest of the week. It sliced right through the 50 simple simple moving average line. And that is not, I mean, if you look back here, it did the same back in August. So there isn't anything to be fearful about, but we want to keep all this in mind while we're looking at what's to come for the week. We're entering the end of the year. There is this thing called the Santa Claus Rally or the Santa Claus effect, which is general optimism in the market and consumers, people putting in their bonuses back into the market at the end of the year. There's so many factors that build this theory of the market going up the last few days of the year and the first few days of the new year. So if we have that lens on and have a bullish bias, what we're looking for and what can support that theory is, to me, I don't really see it here just on the daily, because even if you look at this candle here, we have on Friday, we went up to this point here, which is a place where the Dow previously rejected, but then found support. And here on Friday, we rejected from this part again. So landing a little bit lower for the close, but still a green candle. So just looking at this, it's a little bit shaky if we were to just climb back up from here. But if we are taking into consideration the Santa Claus effect, the time of the year, looking at how a lot of the recovery was in this V bottom format. So this sharp decline down and a sharp rise up, sharp decline, sharp rise, same here. Here, it's a little one as well. It could be very possible that we do that again. So the way it has been recovering creates one pro to anyone who is bullish coming into next week and maybe the next 2 weeks. The way it, even though it cut through the 50 simple moving average line, it cut through it back in August, so it doesn't have to be exact. We've seen it come up from that area. And then what I want to take you to, another place that supports a rally, would be looking at the weekly. So while I have this line was drawn from the daily chart. Let me go back to the daily. I'm just going to remove it from the weekly. So if we're looking at the overall weekly chart here, and we take our line and we draw it here, the bigger, more macro uptrend starting from last October. We have a touch point here, a touch point here. It's kind of really just hovered all on that line here, or danced around it, but pretty close. And then looking at the weekly, we've got a different story. So on the daily, we found that give me a second, I just want to take this here. All right, so when you set the line to current interval only, then when I switch over to a different time frame, it won't be there, which is what I want right now. So if we look at the daily, I've drawn this line from the more recent uptrend, the sharper move up that we've had starting in August. And when I look at Friday's close, we rose up here, but rejected and closed here at 42.8. So if I'm looking for more confirmation of where's the potential for this to move up, if I go to the weekly and I draw my line from October, I have one touch point, two touch point, and then, as I just described, and here is where the weekly lands. So it is very possible that this is a place for reversal. First of all, it's on this, I don't know if it's too hard for you to see, but this is the 20, my purple line is the 20 EMA, my orange line is the 10 EMA. So we're finding support on the weekly, which if you are a longer term trader, you know that the bigger charts, or any kind of trader, you know that the bigger chart has to support the movement that you're trying to capture on your trading chart. So here's where I find support for the theory of it continuing up based on the weekly. So we've got support on the 20. It's on this longer term uptrend line. And this candle is the opposite of what we saw on Friday's close. The candle came all the way down to here, but couldn't go lower, so it closed up here. So this long tail is support that the bears were not, they were in control the past few weeks, but they're starting to lose control based on that wick. So this is a theory to support, hold on one second here. So that's the theory to support the bullish, whoever is feeling bullish, not feeling, don't go by your feelings. But if we want to support that this was the end of this decline or correction, then those are the things that I'm looking at. I think that the weekly chart does give some clues as to the bears not being as strong this week, and that we see there's potential support here on the moving averages. There's potential support based on this longer term uptrend. And then when we go down to what the daily chart is, my trading chart, when I go down to here, there is a little bit of that resistance, which kind of puts me off, but it's not unlike the resistance that we found, or that deeper pullback that we found back in August. So that would be the information I would look at in support of a rally, also folding in the time of year. And you really just have to wait for confirmation, because there were a lot of stocks flipping and showing that they were maybe at a pivot point, but a lot of them didn't reclaim their more key levels like their 10 or 20 EMA. So we just want to sit back and wait for confirmation to make any trading decisions. So that covers the Dow. Now we're on to the NASDAQ. Let me do the same thing here. Gonna back it up. That should be Friday. Okay. So back it up. This is the chart that I showed my readers on Friday. And what you see is I put my highlighted circles around where the NASDAQ retested. So the NASDAQ, unlike the Dow, was retesting at the 20 EMA. And same thing here. Sometimes it goes through it. It's not that it's exact. And you've got these long tails just breaking through it. And so that was my prediction for this coming week. Now let me get out of replay and see what happened. And so the same thing. It went lower than I actually expected. And but on Friday, it opened up here and then it closed up here. So even though it is in my circle, the retest to the 20 went a little bit lower, just like we were looking on the Dow like back in August. So on this chart, very, very similar thing. We definitely could be at a pivot point. There is where it landed is this area here. It's where it gapped up on the 4th of December, and then went up and then came back down, pulled back here, pulled back past its moving average, and then landed right back at where it had gapped up on December 4th. So here's an area of potential resistance. So we definitely want to see it pop up above that line. That's also where the 20 EMA is. And what we're doing this week, again, is just waiting for confirmation. I do feel a little bit bullish. It is somewhat hopeful. I mean, I'm giving you all the technicals that I see that are in support of a rally and also the time of year. But we do need to make sure that our individual stocks are giving us the go ahead and not jumping in too early. And there are a few stocks that did give me some setups this week. It's just a matter of will it hold and will that momentum continue. So let me look at the weekly on here. Let me do that thing again. I'm going to go here. Current interval. I'm going to draw some lines here. So this one is from 2022. But let me go from here. I'm going to move it up. Connect it here. Nothing, it's not really giving me anything in terms of like, you know, if it's retesting anywhere. This one is not set up like the Dow, where the Dow was easy to draw a bigger line from the uptrend on the weekly. So this one, I'm not seeing it as much. Now, what I am seeing is the same thing I saw on the Dow, where the bears started to lose some steam, and that's why you see that bigger wick. So if this is going to come down any further or not, maybe, and you know what, maybe it's not this week. It could be that we get our yearly, end of year, not yearly, it doesn't always happen, but it could be that we get a bit of a rally and then it pulls back a little bit later, like the end of January and February. All right, I'll just draw in a couple more things to see if I see anything here. So if I'm looking at it from here, from October, I've got 1 touch point, 2 touch points, a little bit of dancing around the line. And then here, not an exact touch, but it is possible that this is the line that it's respecting for the rest of the uptrend if we are looking for some bullish confirmation. So, well, not confirmation, but some things that give us the likelihood of it continuing up or being a pivot point here in the market. So that is what I have for y'all. Let me see. Let me zoom out here. Okay, yeah, it looks pretty good. This is my longer line from the weekly, and we landed somewhere about there at the open and moved away from it. So it's likely that there's some support there. And as always, just be patient, wait for your setups, especially when the market hasn't confirmed or when your stock hasn't confirmed yet. No jumping in early. If we were already in a rising market like we were earlier, then that's one thing. You can go for your early entries, but when the market has been a little up and down, you just want to make sure that you are patient and just wait for your bigger chart timeframes to confirm what you're seeing. Okie dokie, that's it for me. I hope y'all enjoyed. Leave me any questions, and good luck this week and next. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and happy New Year. Bye.